Well, for some of you, it may be weeks away. For others, just later this week. Either way, a lot of you getting ready to send your kids back to school or maybe even off to preschool or kindergarten for the first time. If that's the case, it may not just be the kids. It may also be some of you out there fighting back the tears on that first day of school. But we're going to focus on the little ones today and how to help them cope with the different anxieties and problems that could come along with that. I'm happy to have on the show now Dr. Amy Alamar. She's a parenting educator and an author joining me. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. Yeah, the book, Parenting for the Genius, it looks pretty thick. It looks like there's a lot of information to impart on people.
But some digestible pieces. You can read it in parts.
That is good. Yeah, let's get to some of those. I was asking you before we got started, are the tips for dealing with different anxieties all the same? And you said pretty much no. So why don't we just start with general first day of school anxiety? Where does that sort of come from in kids, and what can we do about it?
So the best thing you can do for back to school is set a routine and clear your schedule as much as possible for any kid,
okay.
No matter the age, and also for yourself, so that as you introduce new routines and you face new challenges, like maybe the introduction of homework or just structure outside of the home, then you kind of ease up your schedule so that you can allow for facing those. For anxiety-prone kids, or for a kid who's facing it for the first time, you want to talk about it. Conversation is super important with kids, and I'm a big proponent of being transparent and open and honest with them. So what are they going to expect? As much as you can, introducing them to the routine. Mm-hmm. And usually, with most anxiety about school, exposure will just take care of most of it.
Sure.
And sending them to school.
Yes, just getting them there. Yeah. I imagine just the structure itself also helps with the anxiety too, just because there's less of an unknown with it. What about separation anxiety? When it's not necessarily the going, it's the leaving. It's what you're leaving.
And it goes both ways for parents and kids, right? Yeah. I remember my own separation anxiety with my children. So, when a kid is scared to leave home, it's best, again, to talk about it, get them prepared, let them know what's to come. And the teachers, don't forget, you have resources at the school. They'll have tips specific to what's going to happen in the day for your child, and so that they'll get them ready for it. And then for yourself, have a backup plan that first day, because when your kid goes and is fine, you may find yourself a little bit unstable.
I know, I saw, and believe me, I can't remember who put it up, but there was a Facebook video, a joking one, about the difference between a mother on the first day of kindergarten versus the first day of first grade, where, hey, it's a party once they're in first grade.
Or ninth grade.
Ninth grade too, yes. Yeah. All right, so that's what you can control. What about when the kids are at school and they're scared of something, anything there? Well, I mean, you can't be right there to sort of fix whatever problem there is. So what do you do about that?
If you can find out what the root of the problem is, if your child will share that with you, then you can address it directly. Yeah. Sometimes that's harder to do with kids. So you want to look for red flags, and things to look for are change in habits, change in behavior with you, maybe change in friendships with other kids, and talking to those resources you have, like the teachers and other staff at the school. And then once you know what the problem is, dealing with it directly and being a part of it. It's great if you can help your kid be a self-advocate and just keep yourself informed and not step in right away.
Right.
Yeah.
But getting them to talk about it,
exactly.
That's half the battle right there. What about bullying specifically? I imagine that's a big problem and a very prevalent one.
It's a serious problem, but oftentimes normal behavior is mistaken for bullying. So be careful when you talk about it. If it is truly a bullying situation, again, stay informed, find out what the school's policy is on it, and have your child be a self-advocate. If that's not working, definitely step in, but let them try. Teach them. Role play with them at home, get them used to it. Talk to the administrative staff at the school, because there's definitely a policy at the school for it.
And it's on a continuum. So like you said, you have to look for different red flags. Are they different for bullying, those red flags that you need to look for versus what you just told us about before?
They can be. I mean, anxiety can manifest in so many ways. Looking at sleep patterns and eating habits and behavior, these kinds of things will trigger. And sometimes you'll notice a kid's just quieter. They may just be tired as they start the schedule. So just kind of watching them, talking to them, and looking for multiple red flags.
Yeah, that's a good thing you bring up. How long, how persistent should these be before you wonder? Is it a week, maybe 2 weeks before you have to start saying, that's not something else, we've got a problem?
You know your child best, so I
Yeah.
can't give you an exact timing. You know your child best, and I think having that open conversation, starting it as young as you can, will keep that, because as they enter the middle school years, it's going to be crucial you have that relationship with them.
Well, I imagine we got about 2 or 3 pages of Parenting for the Genius out of the way. So that's the book, of course, by Dr. Amy Alamar, that you can get should you want to learn more about it, because it's a very complex topic. But thank you for taking the time to join
Thanks
us.
so much.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.